Hey friends, what's up? How's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. How are you? Is that where it is, right here? We're gonna talk about some fragrances today, guys. Imagine that, we've never done that on the channel before. It's completely new. I think I'm gonna take things in a different direction and talk about fragrances instead of all the other stuff I usually talk about. So we got a few ones today that I got in here recently. We have Nitro White. Look at that. Oops. I'm not sure what I was trying to do there. I think I was trying to go for like a, I don't know. I think I was trying to spin it. Hey. Well, we got Nitro White. This one is a bit of a hype beast, or has been catching a bit of hype. A little bit of propulsion going on. People talking about it a lot. So I was like, well, I should get it. Then I also got some other stuff to go along with it, like this and this. What are these things, you might ask? Well, this is Tony Soprano Pure, just Soprano Pure. And Tresidor Mystique. Yeah, this one is from Sergio Volante, which is actually Dumont. It says Dumont on the bottom, but it says Sergio Volante right there. So yeah, a few different Dumont lines making an appearance here. And this all came about because of this one. I talked about in a recent video that Nitro White was one that I wanted to pick up, and here it is. And it can't be just purchased by itself, that's ridiculous, so yeah. These will be linked in the description below. You can pick them up at theperfumebox.com, where you can use my code, which is here, to save yourself a little money on your order. Let's very quickly take a look at the presentation, not spend too terribly much time on that. Here is the Dumont Nitro White box. Pretty simple, just have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, size, and concentration on there. It's 100 ml eau de parfum. And you have your sticker and ingredients on the back of the box, your badge code on the bottom, your typical stuff. Here we have the Tresidor box, size and concentration there on the front, 100 ml eau de parfum. Has the Sergio Volante logo as well, and you're gonna find your typical information on that. I thought about throwing it that way, then I thought about just throwing it up and catching it. Did something kind of in between. And then the Tony Soprano box is the nicest of the bunch. So this is actually Panucci, as it says right there on the top of the box. You have the name of the fragrance, size, and concentration on the front there. This is also eau de parfum. You have your little sticker of authenticity on the back, and this is Boxception, a box within a box. So this will be inside of that. You have a little write-up about the fragrance on the back there, and it opens like so, and that's where your bottle will be. And let's look at the bottles. So here is Nitro White, your typical Nitro bottle style. This one has kind of a matte finish to it. You have the name of the fragrance on the front there, Nitro across the cap, Nitro on the little tab. So if you hold it like this, Nitro is in 4 places. Then here is the Soprano Pure bottle. Looks a little classier, doesn't it? You have the name of the fragrance right there on the front, on that little tab. You have the logo on top of the cap, sticker on the bottom, and the cap clicks into place. And here is the Tresidor bottle, which probably looks the nicest of the bunch, I would say. Nice clean lines on it. Feels heavy in the hand, the glass nice and thick. You have the name of the house, name of the fragrance there on the front. The cap, decently heavy also. It slides into place, but you know, this is not one I would pick up by the cap because that bottle's gonna fall. Again, pretty heavy, and this is not super duper snug, but it feels the highest quality, I would say, just in the hand and by looking at it, of the 3. All right, Tresidor up first. Ooh, that's a good atomizer. Excellent. Nitro White, let's see. It's okay. Junior Soprano. Pretty good. Winner of Best Atomizer goes to Tresidor Mystique. All right, so how do these smell? Are they worth procuring? Are they worth smelling? Are they worth wearing? Are they worth taking to the grave? Nah, bro, let's not get that. That's weird. Tresidor Mystique, we'll start there. Now, this one, very intriguing. When I first sprayed this on my skin, and actually it doesn't really come across that way on the strip, but when I first sprayed this on my skin, I was like, uh-oh, I'm not gonna like that, because it reminded me off the bat of something in the style of Herba Pura, Kirke, you know, something like that. That sweet, fruity, sugary, kind of feminine leaning style that those fragrances have came across like that right off the top. And I was like, oh God, because that is not my style. I don't really like that very much. But here's the good thing. It actually doesn't lean into just being that, because if it was, I would just take this and just, whoo, no use to me. So while yes, it does have a bit of that sweetness in the opening that may remind you of Herba Pura fragrances of that style, it changes pretty quick. You have a super pleasant bergamot pear in the opening, bergamot and pear, and it just has a really, really welcoming sweetness. It's fresh. It's got a slight sugary aspect to it, but in an extremely pleasant way, and it doesn't have like this powder or anything in there that could dampen that. So the opening, really, really good. As it dries down, that sweetness stays in there. You get woodiness that comes out that becomes apparent. It doesn't overtake the fragrance, it just starts to kind of meld together with those sweeter notes. And then you have just a little touch of iris and sandalwood, and those give you like this hint of creaminess. But it doesn't go into like a makeup-y, lipsticky, like nothing like that. So this is one that is surprisingly really, really, really good. And I initially thought, this is gonna suck. And then, woo, nice, good surprise. The quality, real nice. You can spray that on as I just did, go in right away and catch a whiff. You're not gonna have anything off-putting or anything like that. Really well done. And next up, we will talk about Soprano. Soprano Pure. So this one coming in a blue bottle, the expectation was blue fragrance, most likely. And the note breakdown for this one is interesting. I'll read you off some of the notes. So in the top, it has bergamot, green apple, ozone, pink pepper, melon, grapefruit, and pearl. Pearl. Yeah, I've never seen that as an official note. A pearl, like you pull out of an oyster? Like, does that mean it has a marine aspect to it? I would assume it doesn't have an oyster smell to it, because pearl, to the best of my knowledge, it doesn't have a smell. That could be something else, of course. You know, it could be a different note or something lost in translation. I don't know, but that's what it says. Then in the mid, there's lavender, there's violet, and then yes, of course, who could forget dihydromercenol? Yes, the very commonly used note in a note breakdown. And then in the base, you know, it reads decently normal. Elemi, cedar, cashmere, antique wood, ambroside, and praline. But yeah, you can look at that note breakdown and see there's a lot of stuff going on and be like, oh, okay, well, what is that? Well, the first thing I will tell you is that when you spray this fragrance on, it is strong. I did a couple sprays just now. When I was wearing this earlier, I did 3. It was like pop, 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 and then let it dry down, and oh my God, it was projecting like an unchained beast. It's one that kind of reminds me of a few different things, but I can't peg it down to being, you know, directly inspired by one, right? So it could remind you a bit of stuff like Invictus Aqua, D by Diesel, like a number of different fragrances. Ones that have a sweet forward lavender with this sort of like ultra powerful, almost clean laundry aspect to it. A little bit in that style with very sweet but synthetic fruits off the top. And so that probably sounds like, that doesn't sound that great, but it's actually really, really nice as long as that's what you're after. It has pretty massive performance for me for a freshie. If you spray this stuff on pretty heavily, you're probably gonna have your head explode. It's gonna lean youthful, I'd say middle-aged, younger. It absolutely comes across synthetic, but in a way that is made for mass appeal mass consumption, massiveness. I know looking at this, you know, the deep blue, you would probably think maybe it'll be a classier sort of blue fragrance. Nah, this thing is loud. It is loud. And now to the Hype Boost Nitro White. So Nitro Red is really the biggest in the Nitro line. And that one is super versatile. It's a sweet, fresh, kind of blue fragrancy type of scent. It, to me, reminds me of like, you know, bits of Invictus mixed with bits of Baccarat Rouge 540, maybe a little Y sprinkled in there as well, but kind of like in that style. That's Nitro Red. And now we have entering the fray, Nitro White. And I said before in the video, again, I don't remember which one it was, but I said that I was ordering this one because I had heard that it was a bit similar to Nitro Red, but maybe with more vanilla. To me, this is actually kind of its own thing. It doesn't really remind me too much of Nitro Red. When you first spray it on, you get a little bit of a berry sweetness to it, and iris as well. Not a ton of iris though, just a little hint. And the first time I sprayed this on, I thought there was like this darkness to it off the top, just for like a little bit. And it reminded me of something like very vaguely animalic, just like the littlest bit. As I've worn it more, I don't really pick up that aspect as much, but it does have like an underlying little hint of something darker when you first spray it on. As it dries down, you get a really appealing vanilla that comes out, this praline aspect. It becomes more of like a warm, almost gourmandy fragrance, but again, something in common with these. It has that sweetness that carries over from the opening into the mid into the dry down here. There's a hint of leather in there, a little amber as well in the base. It smells great. It's really, really, really good, but it's probably not gonna be as versatile for some people as Nitro Red, because for me, when I smell this, this is more like spring, fall, you know, it'd be a really nice evening fragrance, but summertime, I go for something else. Could wear that during the winter as well. But this is, again, one of those fragrances that you can spray on, smell immediately, and it smells great. And this one is pretty affordable too, all things considered. And this one's really addictive as well, absolutely. That said, of the Nitro fragrances that I have smelled, and there's been some really outstanding ones, you know, value propositions there in the Nitro lineup. I think that for me, probably red and white are gonna be the best ones. So it makes sense that those would be the ones getting the hype then, right? Yeah, kinda how it goes sometimes. So that's my quick rundown of these three. The strongest one off my skin is this one. I'd say the one that I like the most is probably actually this one. And this one is Herbapura-esque with a twist. A little more masculine leaning than Herbapura. And I'm not saying full on masculine, I still think this is unisex, but more than Herbapura. With great quality, nice presentation, and a lot of versatility too. All three sweet, but in very different ways. So there we go, guys. These ones, I actually got a few others that I have not opened yet. So if any of those jump out at me in any sort of way, this way or that way, I'll let you know. Thank you so much. Stay safe out there, wherever you find yourself this beautiful day, evening, dusk, dawn, whatever time it is. See you guys later.